today's episode isn't just about triathlons, it's about the bigger picture of doing hard things. The discipline it takes to show up, the structure that keeps you grounded, the recovery that keeps you going, the nutrition that fuels you, and the quiet confidence that builds every time you push past a limit. This is the episode you play when you want to train smarter, stay motivated, and reconnect with the reason you ever said, I want to try this. Athletes will feel seen, beginners will feel welcomed, and anyone chasing a goal will feel understood. Welcome back to She's Probably Talking to Other Guys. I'm your host, Annie, and I'm really excited to introduce our guest for today's episode. Before I introduce her, let's do a quick recap of last week. Episode 18 is Too Loud, Too Cringy, Too Confident, Too Bad. How public opinion creates assumptions out of thin air. In this episode, we dove into how the internet and people in real life decide who you are from just a quick interaction or even a simple social media post. We broke down how public opinion twists confidence into arrogance, ambition into flaw, and authenticity into something to pick apart. Just a friendly reminder, I am not a therapist, psychologist, or expert in human behavior of any kind. Everything I share comes from personal experience, opinions, and lots of conversations over coffee with friends. If you're struggling with something deeper, I always encourage talking to a licensed professional. As always, this is a judgment-free, assumption-checking zone. Take what resonates and leave the rest. Joining me today is Kaitlin Carew, and I'm so excited for you to get to know her and her journey. Today is really all about diving into what her journey is as a triathlete, as well as what she also enjoys in her free time too, because this isn't everything that she does in her life. What I want to do first is I'm going to pass it over to Kaitlin so she can tell you who she is and give you a little bit of an intro about her.
Oh boy. Hi, thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here. So I am originally from Wisconsin and I now live in Oregon. I am a physical therapist at a local hospital here. So that's my full-time job. And when I'm not doing that, I'm training for triathlons, mostly Ironman distances, but I've done all of them and I love all of them for different reasons. So yeah, that's basically me. Those two things.
That's perfect. So we're going to move into our first portion, which is going to be focused on a recent event that you have just completed, and it's the Ironman in Arizona.
Mhm.
And we're going to talk about your overall experience. And then as we continue through the episode, we're going to dive deeper into some different topics. So a lot of the listeners may not know what is involved in a race like the Ironman, as well as what it's like to prepare for something like this. So if you were going to set the stage and give a description for people who have no idea what you're involved in, go for it.
Oh boy. It's probably just you're gonna think I'm crazy. So an Ironman is a long distance triathlon. It's a 2.4 mile swim, a 112 mile followed by a 112-mile bike, and then followed by a marathon run. So it's an all-day event. You literally get up at 4 in the morning and go to the race, get everything set that you need for all three sports, and then you spend the day racing the whole day.
That
Uh,
sounds
yeah.
absolutely wild. I mean, in the best way possible. I'm always down for like learning about all of these different events and different sports that people participate in. So that's really cool. But if you could take us to Tempe, Arizona, what did the morning of the Ironman feel like?
Oh, the morning of, well, it always starts out like I wake up and I'm kind of like, oh, do I really want to do this? Like, this is really early. I could just go back to bed if I wanted to. Like, I don't have to do this. But getting up and like I like you go to the transition area where that's where you like switch between each sport, because you can't obviously have your bike while you're swimming. That's a little bit challenging. So you have like your transition area, and in the morning you go and get it set, and it's really just like a like routine, honestly, which I think helps calm me down a little bit, because it's like I have this checklist of things that I have to go through every race. And so I go into my transition area and I do that every single race. And so I think it just is now like become a routine. So that helps like calm me down. But then when you're waiting to get into the swim, like you're waiting in line to hop into the water, like they're pumping you up, they're playing music, like they're trying to get everyone excited. And I feel like that's what makes me really nervous. Instead of excited, that's when I start to get really nervous, because it's like, oh shit, like I'm actually about to do this. Like I actually have to commit to, like, I've been talking about this for months and now I actually have to go through it. And like I personally set a lot of like time goals and place goals, and like have pretty like high goals that I'm trying to chase. So I think that's also where part of the nervousness definitely comes from, because I like, you've put in so much time and so much effort into this race and the training for it. Like I spend 8 hours a weekend per day on the weekends training for it. Like you spend every spare second of your free time training for something like this. And it's like, you don't want anything to happen that like just throws it all out the window. I mean, sometimes it does happen. Like things happen on your bike that you can't control. Your tires can go flat. Like things happen, but it's one of those things where you're like, you just don't. If you can avoid anything happening, you don't want anything to happen. You want to. It's what you've spent years, months, whatever it may be, training for.
I feel like also as a fellow competitor in the sense of ballroom dancing, like
Yeah.
there are certain things I feel like that go through your head and you're talking about all of this and I'm like, oh, I totally can relate to this. Not in the Ironman sense, because if you talk to my trainer, he would tell you how much I do not like running or the bike. So
I'm sure every athlete, anyone that competes in any type of competition, or any athlete can relate to it in some sort of way. Like you're standing on that line waiting to go. It's like this, like you're nervous, but also excited at the same time. These are like, I finally get to do what I've been training for and I can see what I can do, but also like I'm terrified
Mhm.
and I don't know if I can actually do this.
But I mean, based on your score, which we'll get into later, pretty sure everyone needs to know. We'll point out that she did do it, and I was very impressed. If we go into kind of the vibe of this event compared to maybe others you've done, whether they're triathlons or just marathons or whatever it might be, what do you feel is the main difference based on your personal experience for what you were feeling?
Um, Honestly, I would say they're all pretty similar. I feel like I ran Boston a few years ago. That's probably by far like the most crazy atmosphere that I've ever experienced. Like if anyone ever gets a chance to run it, do it. It's the coolest atmosphere that I have ever experienced during a race. Um, this race I really liked, like the way they set up the course was really spectator friendly. So there were a lot of times that I got to see my friends and my parents and people cheering in general, which is really nice, especially during the run. Um, because your legs are just like dead. And so but like especially like having people cheer, like it just brings that adrenaline back through regardless of how you're feeling, which is really nice. But I mean, I think all of the like most of the races that I've done, whether it's Ironman or a marathon or a different try, they're all, the vibe is all really like it's all like a very exciting atmosphere. Like for the most part, I feel like most of the race organizers and like staff do a really good job of making it a nice atmosphere. Ironman has done like a lot of the races that I've done in the certain specific cities that they've been in they've done a really good job of like the whole city kind of seems to get involved with it. Like it's not just you and the people that are racing, like their family and friends spectating. It's like people that live there are just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go watch the Ironman this weekend. Like it's like, or I'm gonna go cheer people on. Like I don't literally no one racing. I don't know anyone racing. I don't know anyone here, but I'm gonna go cheer these people on. Like, and that's the coolest part about it when you just have everyone coming out to cheer you on. Like that's what makes it real like more enjoyable rather than and makes you not think about what you're doing as much and like how crazy it is. It kind of like sidetracks your mind, which is nice.
I think that to hear that it sounds more of like a community event too, that I mean, I feel right off the bat that probably could I could see where you feel that you get more motivated, whether it's running or it makes you feel a bit more comfortable in the setting. And that's cool that they make it more of a community.
I did Ironman Wisconsin when I was younger, and that that one's in downtown Madison, the run is. And my husband used to work in Madison when we lived there. And his entire like team was like, oh, what are you doing this weekend? And they're like, oh, we're going to go watch the Ironman. Like, your wife's racing, right? Like, what's her bib number? We'll track her. Like, that's the entire city like shuts down and comes to watch, which is so cool. It's like the route is like 13-mile loop you do twice, and the entire route is like lined with people cheering for you. It's like a really cool, they like totally embraced it and like made it a part of Madison instead of like getting frustrated because the whole entire Madison downtown is shut down.
And maybe for anyone listening who is thinking of joining one of these or trying one in the future, maybe that adds a little bit of I guess we could say a little perk for
Yeah.
them to continue training and maybe go for it. We're
Mm-hmm.
going to move into a few assumptions. What's the biggest assumption you think that people make about Ironman compared to what you've actually experienced?
Like Ironman is very intimidating in general. And I think that sometimes stops people from wanting to register and or wanting to try it because the distance intimidating, the brand might sound intimidating, and like there's sometimes a lot of ego involved with it. And I would say like yeah, there's some people that are like that, but the majority of people that I've met and like girls that I've gotten to know across the country, like we all live in different places and we all cheer for each other, even though we are in the same age groups and compete against each other. Like we have like all became friends or like bouncing ideas off each other for nutrition or anything like that. Like everyone is, it's kind of become like a nice little like community and friendship that I've formed from it, which I honestly didn't think would happen. I figured, we're racing each other. We're going to be competitors. Like we're not going to talk to each other, that kind of thing. But, like I've gotten to know some girls more and it's like, everyone's very nice and really open and wanting to share and wanting to like figure out how to race better too. Like we all want the same thing.
I feel like that totally reminds me of community over competition or collaboration over competition.
Mhm.
And that's really good to hear. I saw from your post that there were 3 women. I mean, we'll dive more into the world
Yeah.
qualification later in the episode, but are there a lot more, do you feel, that we just don't necessarily see or
Yeah, I mean, probably yes. About like the stats say about 18% of women are Ironman finisher, like 18% of Ironman finishers are women, which is not really that big of an amount. And that's been a big push, I think, over the last couple of years. And like, granted, social media is just showing one part of it, and my entire feed is filled with people training for Ironmans and races and whatnot. But it's like that is such a small amount of finishers is female, and so it's like we we can't sit here and like bash each other. We have to work together to help improve participation and show people like what we're doing and why this might be something you're interested in or why it's worth taking the leap and trying it. Um, and I mean, it like I think that's what we need to start with is just um showing that it is a community and that you don't have like we're not fighting each other. We're not like we are competing against each other, but we're also still like friends beyond it, and that it's not just about the competition.
And I'm sure this will encourage some women out there to join in the future too. One more assumption before we move on to the next part.
Mhm.
What assumption did you personally have going into this race that didn't hold up while you were out there?
I would say for not necessarily for Ironman Arizona,
Mhm.
but for Ironman in general, um, how helpful everybody is. Like I kind of figured like I was gonna have to do this by myself. Like no one's gonna help me out there because no one else is gonna slow down or stop their time or anything like that. And that is so not true. Ironman also does a really good job of getting volunteers to help with these races, which it would not be possible if we didn't have as many volunteers. Like um there's multiple races where like my shoelace came untied or like something happened to on the run and I had like 3 or 4 volunteers around me like helping me get my shoe tied because I couldn't tie it or something just getting me whatever I needed. And I've had multiple races where I have people that I'm running by, they're either passing me or I'm passing them and it's like a hey, let's stick together, like you're doing a great job, let's try and stick together and give each other like something to work off of. And like you start having conversations with people mid race and it's a little bit of a nice distraction for a minute or two before you guys both go back to like your race. But like that part is not what I expected. Like everyone on the bike, if something happens to someone on the bike, every single cyclist going by is like, are you okay? Do you need help? Like, what do you need? Um, and then like I know there's been a couple times where I've seen something and then at the next aid station I'm like, hey, there's like bikers back, there was a cyclist back here, something happened. So that the volunteers know and can go help them potentially or get like the race support that they have to them quicker. So it's like it's very much people trying to help each other instead of trying to compete against each other.
I love that. I don't know, that's just so refreshing, I guess would be the word that I would use to describe everything that you're saying
Yeah.
is yes, it's a competition and you've already said like you're training so much for this, but at the end of the day, everyone's still just genuinely trying to encourage each other and cheer each other
Mhm.
on. Which I think I like don't like to say like that's unique about a sport, but I feel like in a sense it is. You know, growing up and doing other sports and dancing and things like that. It's always nice to hear when there's like a huge community that just helps to support one another. I don't know. I
Yeah.
think refreshing would be the word that I stick with.
Yeah. And I think um like with Iron Man too, like a lot of people know going into a race like that it's like it's about finishing, right? Like
Mhm.
most people don't do this to compete, they do it to just finish and say that they've done this race. And so I think that's also sometimes helps people's mindsets too, because it's not like, oh, I have to have the fastest time. It's like, no, I'm just here to finish and I want to make sure everyone else can finish too. Or like I want to make sure like other people aren't miserable and can finish because we all know how long it's taken to get to this point.
We're going to specifically move into your swim for a moment.
Mhm.
So you already said that it's 2.4 miles.
Mhm.
I am not a swimmer. I am a proud doggy paddler, and I have some cousins who took swimming very seriously. But other than that, I truly don't really know much about swimming. I feel like now I'm gonna have to find the photo. There's a picture of me and my best friend in swimming lessons when we were little, and we're splashing, which probably we weren't supposed to be doing because the instructor's behind us like this because we're splashing her in the face with water. So that I think could give kind of a clear picture of how swimming fits into my life. So when you're swimming, what's going through your head right before you're about to begin? I know you mentioned about being in the transition area, but you've trained for this, you know that you can get through it, but what's going through your mind right before you're ready to do it?
Honestly, so I've swam competitively since I was like 8 or 9 years old. So a lot of people get intimidated by the swim, but I'm not, because it's like I swam competitively for 15 years. Like, this is another practice, honestly. Like, 2 hours of swimming, like we swam way more than 2.4 miles. So like it's so relative to me, because I'm like, oh, I've done this how many, like, countless times. Like, I can't even tell you how many times that I've been in a pool. Like, it's just it doesn't feel like as crazy to me because I've just swam for so long. So I think that really helps, like, my confidence going into it and starting with it. Like, I know that I can do this. I for sure know that I'm going to complete the swim and have very little problems because I've just swam for so long and I'm so comfortable in the water. Um, I will say too, like, open water swimming, where we swam in a lake, is way different than swimming in a pool. Um, it like, when I first kind of switched and started doing more open water swimming, it like took a second because I was so used to having this nice little line to follow on the pool floor. You do not have that in a lake. So definitely took a second, but like the swim, I get like nervous for the whole race before, because the swim is the start of it.
Mhm.
But the swim itself, like, I feel like I'm pretty confident just because I've spent so much time in the water and I've done it so many times before that it's like, okay. But a lot of times, like, the swim is what really freaks people out, because if you're not super comfortable and you're not used to it and you haven't swam for a long time, or like you're learning to swim and then try to swim in open water, like, it is a very intimidating thing to do. um and it's really challenging to like get into that mindset of like being confident jumping into a body of water where you have to like look at where you're going to try and do the whole swim. um so I would say, like, I get nervous for it right before I hit the water, and then once you hit the water, it's like, okay, it's go time. So
Mhm.
it's like it the nerves, anything else, like, disappear, and you're just like, I'm in the zone, like, this is my time, I gotta go.
I honestly never would have even considered the fact that you didn't have lanes anymore. And immediately it just made me think that I don't even know where I would end up.
They have buoys that you follow. So they
Okay.
put out like bright colored buoys that you have to follow. And then most races will do this, where if you have to turn left or right, they'll have a different colored buoy so that it's like all clearly marked, like how you're supposed to go through the course. Um, and most races also do a really good job of having water, like, lifeguards in the water and water support. That if you start swimming one way too far, one way or the other, they direct you back onto the course. So a lot of tries have gotten a lot better about that, to make sure that people get through the swim, because that is probably the most intimidating part and like the scariest part. To make sure everyone gets out of the water.
I
So
imagine that it also kind of sets the tone in a sense for the rest of your race,
yeah,
physically and mentally. I would imagine if you feel like you didn't do that great of a swim, then you have to obviously keep mentally strong and telling
yeah.
yourself we can either make it up as we do the rest or whatever the thoughts may be.
I will say too, it is there's a lot of people that all go in at once, and people will hit you and will kick you, and because one, they're trying to figure out where to go and then hold their ground, and then you're trying to hold your ground. So like, the water is I totally get how it's really intimidating, and you have to be aware of everything going on around you, and then where you're at and where you're going. Like you have to try and pay attention to all of it at once, which is a lot. But what I've learned is a couple of times I got caught behind people, and so I would just swim like maybe 5 feet out from the buoys, and then there was like nobody bugging me. And I could see the lifeguard staff on one side, and then I could see the buoys on the other side. So that's what I do is I try to like go a couple feet away from everybody else so then I can just swim where I want to swim and I'm not getting caught and stuck by other people. So and not getting kicked.
That's always a good thing, right? All right, we're going to move into the bike, which is 112 miles. Now, we're going to do like a little compare and contrast, and maybe the internet is correct. So this is what the internet had to say about the bike course out there. So it's flat and fast. It's a long straight highway, 3 loops, headwinds, dry desert air, and hydration challenges. Would you say that that is all accurate, or is there anything there that you would like to correct the internet on?
I would say it's pretty flat and fast, but there is a little bit of a hill at the end of the going out portion. It kind of slowly just keeps creeping up and up and up on you, and you're like, you can stop at any time. Like this can go flat. But it is relatively fast, and it's not super hilly. The hydration I feel like wasn't granted, I also knew that, so I came prepared. I had extra like bottles with me. I knew when I would need to grab water from aid stations. Like I had like a whole plan going in of how much I was going to need and when. So I knew what I was going to need. But it wasn't super hot. It was like 60s to 70s while we were biking, which I think helped too. And then it was also cloudy, like to start. The end of the bike became sunny, but the beginning was cloudy, which was kind of nice. So I think that helped with some of the hydration problems. Okay. Otherwise, I would say most of it was accurate.
Okay. In the beginning, you mentioned that things could always go wrong, like flat tire, things like that, which again, that like didn't even occur to me. Did anything go wrong that you had to correct as your journey went on?
So my bike was fine during almost like 90% of the race. I was coming, it was a mile like 108. I was coming back, like we were almost done at that point, and I hit a curve and I hit a bump, and my entire, like I have a little like water bottle on the front that holds my bike computer and tells me how fast I'm going, like all the info that I need while I'm racing, and it goes flying. I like hit a bump and the whole top of my hydration system like flew off, and I like couldn't stop to get it. Well, one, I didn't want to stop and waste time. Two, I was turning and there was a biker right behind me. So I couldn't just put the brakes on because he would have crashed into me. And then where we were biking, the lane right next to us was traffic, was cars driving. So I couldn't turn into that lane and go back and get it. So I literally just had to keep biking and finish without the top of my hydration system or my bike computer. And my bike computer is only a little expensive. So I was not happy that got lost, but thankfully when it flew off, there was literally flew off in front of a volunteer. Like it landed at her feet. And so they picked it up and brought it back. So I got it the next day. So no problems. But yeah, that was like, thankfully it was like I had 4 miles left. So I wasn't super concerned about like where I was at and like my heart rate and all that because I was almost done. But yeah, so that was my big thing that happened to me on the bike. I lost my computer.
I imagine in the moment that's like, oh, what do I do? But you kept going, and look at that.
And it came back. It was fine.
Landed in the perfect place where it could have landed. So you already mentioned, well, we briefly talked about, different events feel different on the day that you're doing them. Do you feel that some days when you're training, it's true that like one or the other will just feel absolutely terrible, even though it felt great the day before? How do you measure, or do you have a way to measure your consistency on them?
Oh, yes, 100%. There are so many days where I'll do a run interval workout and it feels so good. And then I try to do it like the next week or a couple days later, whatever it may be. And I like can't get going. I can't get the paces at all. Like it totally goes up and down. How I measure everything is I have like I go off of my heart rate and then also based on the paces that I have. Um like I have like all these zones that I'll run, bike or swim in, and so they're all tied to like my heart rate. So then I try to so then I'll get workouts from my coach with like specific paces that I'm supposed to hit, and they kind of take those workouts and like look at where my heart rate was, and then we kind of like adjust the zones based on that. And so that's kind of how I like measure a lot of my running, or not just running, measure a lot of my workouts is heart rate and then pace, and like the two combined. So I'm trying to think. Like a lot of the times too, what I'll do is if a workout didn't feel really good or was really, really challenging, I'll go look at what my heart rate was. And it was like, oh, it was a little bit higher than it was the last time I did this on like this pace. Like, I wonder why and what's going on. And honestly, a lot of time it has to do with my period too. Like the cycle through the month
Mhm.
um, definitely affects when I work out and how hard I can work out, and when I feel good versus not feel great. Like it totally plays a role into it because of hormones.
Yeah, I believe that 100% for sure. And again, I just feel like there's so much that people don't consider too when it comes to training like this and things like that. I was reading somewhere something that Bella Hadid got her period the day of the Victoria's Secret fashion show, and you just like think in your mind, you're like, oh my God.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
no. As a female athlete, that's something that people don't really consider at all.
There's not nearly as much research on female athletes compared to males. And a lot of female programs get written for like we just follow what males did and what worked for males. And like yes, it does work for us because we all have muscles that respond the same way and everything. But we also have hormones that interact way differently than how male hormones interact in their bodies. And it's like I can totally tell the difference if I'm trying to race in a certain week of like the month cycle. It is 10 times harder for me to hit a pace than it is like the week before or the week after because of where our hormones are at. And it's just one of those things that it wasn't until like this year, last year, that I realized like because I was getting so frustrated why when I was like, oh my God, I want to hit this pace for the race. Like, and I can't even hit it like working out. Like, how am I going to do this? And then I started putting the pieces together. I was like, oh my God, it felt like right before my cycle or like a week before or whatever it was. And I was like, that's totally why this is not going how I wanted it to go.
I like completely understand that. I downloaded a tracker on my phone now so I can keep tracking. If
Yeah.
there's a day where I'm just like, okay, something's not right, I will literally open it up and be like, okay, I'm not crazy. That was why.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, totally. I'll do that with workouts too. I'll be like, God, that was miserable. Like, why was that so hard? And then I'll go look and they're like, you're supposed to get your period in the next couple of days. And I was like, oh, well, now I know why.
So if we dive into the run, was there a moment where you feel like you are setting yourself up for like the finish that was your goal? Or do you feel like you came above your goal, at your goal, a little bit beneath? Where do you feel like you fell in that scale?
Yeah, I was a little bit beneath my goal. My goal was to be the top 3 overall females, and I was 6th overall. Um, and then I wanted my time to be a little bit faster, but I was still happy that I got under 10 hours. Um, that because like that was my ultimate goal, was like try and get under 10 hours again. I wanted to be a little bit faster. I started out exactly where I wanted to be on the run. My heart rate looked good. My legs were tired, but it was like I like that's what I'm used to. Like it wasn't anything crazy. Um and then my GI tract slowly started to go south on me. That's one thing I probably haven't talked about a lot, was nutrition is the fourth like sport in triathlon. You have to eat during these races and you have to like fuel yourself. Otherwise, like your body will have nothing to go on and like nothing to keep going. Um, so I did exactly what I needed to do for nutrition on the bike, and starting the run, I was fine. I was doing okay. And then slowly as I got into the run, my GI system just started to hate me. By like mile 20 of the run, it was I just want to finish. Like that was my mentality, because, and I was like, you can't stop running. You can't do X, Y, or Z. Like you need to keep running. You can't do this and you can't do that. Like you just have to get to the finish line. Just keep stepping towards the finish line. And that's all I could tell myself. I couldn't get myself to go faster. I could not get my brain and my body to want to agree to anything other than just finish.
Mm-hmm.
Because I felt so miserable. I like was trying to take some nutrition at like mile 13, and my body like revolted, and I like almost projectile vomited like right there. That is how bad I was feeling.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, just keep running. Like I had some nutrition in a water bottle, so I could sip that, and like my body was okay with that. But if I tried to eat anything, it would like actively like make me dry heave. And I'm like, let's not do this.
That's like the worst possible timing too, because you're in like the home stretch and you're just like,
Yeah.
no. You totally just answered my next question, which is okay. I was going to ask about your emotional, physical state in the last few miles, so we don't need to
That's
make
what it was.
that again.
Yeah, so like one thing that is really important to do for any longer distance race is like, and even running like a half or a full marathon, you want to train with like the nutrition that you use. And so that's what I did. And so I was fine the whole time I was training. And then I get to race day and my whole body is just like, no, we're going to reject this now. And it's like, why? Why are you doing this to me? Please don't do this to me on race day. I have trained with you. You know what's going in your body. Just agree and like let it go.
I could
Um,
see how that would be frustrating, especially because there was so much preparation and it's
yeah.
something that you have to deal with in the moment. And I mean, you needed to finish.
If I can finish, like I still have a chance at qualifying for the world championship. So I was like, if I can just get to the finish line, like I put myself in a good enough spot that I can qualify. And I was top 3. I was 3rd place for a while during the run. And then I slowed down because my body just like wouldn't let me go anymore. But I was like, just keep running, just keep running, just keep running. Like,
You said that about just keep running, and immediately Dory from Finding Nemo popped in my head.
yeah,
Just keep swimming.
keep swimming. Yeah. Just switch out the run and swim in the run. And the same thing applies. I was probably singing that while I was swimming, in all honesty.
Do you have a favorite event, like right
Ugh.
off the bat, that you enjoy the most?
Everyone always asks. And it depends on the day. Depends on which one feels the best and which one I'm doing the best at.
Hmm.
My most of the time it's either the swim or the run. Maybe the bike was,
Okay.
but
I feel
normally I would say the swim or the run, but the bike was better this time. So that's why I liked the bike more.
that's a very relatable answer. As soon as it depends on the day, that's pretty much my reaction when people are like, oh, well, what's your favorite dance? And I'm like, well, I have 9 to choose from. It kind of depends on
Which
what's
one
going
scored the highest?
so yeah, again, as a fellow competitor, I totally understand that answer. We're gonna wrap up this portion here. So, one word to describe Ironman Arizona.
Determined.
Okay, I like that. That's a good one. And then if Ironman gave out superlatives, what would you win?
Most likely to feel like feel like crap on the run and still finish.
I'll accept that.
Or most likely to lose bike computer.
Oh, there you go. There you go. I don't know if that's ever happened to
I
anyone.
don't know either.
We're going to go a little bit into just your overall training and preparation. I know we touched on just a few pieces here and there. We can just do like some quick answers on these. How long did you train specifically for this race?
I specifically trained for this race probably about like a year
Okay.
in like cumulative total. Like I would say like I had other races planned throughout the season. Like I did ones in April and June and August or July. I had other races throughout the season. So like my last race was in August. So from August to November was like strictly Ironman Arizona. But like all the other races were half Ironmans. So it was kind of like I built up to the half distance and then kept building to the full distance.
Okay. And a week in the life during peak training, how many hours a day are you training?
Oh, let's see. It depends on the day. If I have to work during my peak week of training, I think I hit 24 hours of training in the week. Um if I worked, I would have about 1 to 2 hours in the morning before work and then 1 to 2 hours after work. So I would do probably like 3 to 4 hours of training in a day while working. On my off days, would have like probably 7-ish hours of training. It was like my entire day.
Is there an assumption about how much time you spend training that you wish people understood better?
I think the biggest thing, like for me, for especially like leading up to this one, like I everyone would be like, oh my God, like this is so amazing. Like you're doing, like I can't believe you do this much. Like how do you do this much? Like I could never do that. And it was just my priorities. Like I knew what my goal was and I knew what it would take to accomplish that. And I put everything into it because I knew that's what it was going to take for me to get to where I wanted to be. Um, and like, it's not that you can't, it's just that this is what you make time for. Like my whole life, especially from August to November, there were so many things that I probably missed or like didn't do or cut short because I was like, I have to go train because I want to accomplish this. And there's so many things that my husband helps with at home. Like he's the one making meals. He's the one doing like a lot of the things around our house because I'm training. And like I wouldn't be able to do as much as I do if I didn't have like the friends and family supporting me and like helping me with every other aspect of my life so that I can train.
Yeah, that's really important. And I love that he jumps right in so that way you can do your thing. Do you feel like, I mean, you mentioned meals. Is he obviously like up to date on the specific nutrition that you need for preparing and training like this? I imagine that maybe he's learned a lot about nutrition. He do Ironman or no?
He runs. He's not gonna try. He doesn't. He says he doesn't want to, and I was like, oh, okay, we'll work on that. No, I'm kidding. He played baseball in college, so and he now runs half marathons. So the fact that he went from baseball to like half marathons is kind of shocking to begin with. Um, but so we will run together and we'll do some bikes together too because he'll bike for like cross training and stuff like that. Um so we kind of like work out in that aspect. For meals, there's not like some people are very strict about their diet while they're training. I'm not feel like I'm not super strict, but I tend to lean towards like, okay, I want like a leaner protein, like I want like fish or chicken or something like that with like some sort of vegetable side or something like that normally. So like that it's not very strict because I just the amount of training that I'm doing, I just need the calories.
Mhm.
Like my body needs the calories to recover and to be able to keep training. So it's just a like, let's try and get the higher quality like proteins and carbs and whatnot that are going to help do me more good than like, empty ones that as in like candy or junk food or something like that.
One more assumption for this
Mhm.
portion. So, is there an assumption? I mean, we already talked about just about 18% are females in Ironman. Do you feel like there's an assumption that's made or comments that are made about female triathletes that you just love proving people wrong?
Oh yes, I love beating everybody. As weird as I say that. I I really do think like I will step up to the line and I'm automatically underestimated because I'm a female and because like I'm automatically assumed that I can't keep up. Like the amount of people that have told me or reached out and said like your times are so fast, like I can't believe you're even running that, or like I can't believe like a girl beat me. And it's like it's just like automatically assumed that I'm just not gonna be as fast and that I can't keep up. Um, so I mean, like that's my favorite thing is proving that I'm just as fast and that I do it like and that I can keep up and that I deserve to be there just as much as the next guy does.
So, your final time, totally correct me, it was like 9 hours, 52 minutes?
57 minutes.
57.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
And then do you have specific goals for like each event for times that you want to hit? What are those?
yeah. So it depends on the course and like how hilly it is and whatnot, because that'll kind of like gauge how fast I'm going. Um, So my goal for the swim was to be under an hour, and I was. My goal for the bike was to be about 5 hours, and I was 5 hours and 8 minutes. And then my goal for the run was to be about 3:30. I really wanted to be under an 8 minute mile pace, and I was at like 3:45, I think. So you can tell like that's where it fell off. But like everything else was like pretty close to my time goal that I wanted.
What we're going to talk about for a moment is how do you unwind? I mean, I've seen on social media you're really prioritizing rest, which is completely understandable after you just went through this. But whether it's this week or just in general, like what do you like to do to unwind?
Mhm. My favorite thing to do is honestly just like lay on the couch. Like I don't even care if like what I'm watching sometimes. It's like just being able to sit on the couch and not move is really nice sometimes. I also love doing like an earlier morning workout, and then me and my husband will make breakfast together and like have coffee together and make breakfast together and then just sit and like eat together, and that's really nice. Like kind of like a nice way to unwind, and like I might have a workout later in the day, but we just get to sit and like enjoy being together, which is nice. Every once in a while, if I get time, I'll pull out like I have like an adult coloring book, so I'll pull that out and start like just like mindlessly like coloring that.
Yeah, I feel like I need a more dramatic word because I feel like active lifestyle is too, I don't know, too subtle to describe yours. I feel like I need something more. So I don't blame you. Enjoy your time on the couch for sure. Did you ever struggle with taking time off or just really trying to enjoy your day-to-day life when you know that either you should be training right now or even though you've already done your training, maybe you feel like you should do more?
um, not. Not too much. Every once in a while though, if I like have a workout that I like modified or something like that, or didn't completely get done. Like a great example is if I have a workout that I'm supposed to do in the morning and I slept in instead of doing the workout, and like I'll try and do both of them after work if they're a little bit shorter, or I'll try and shorten one. And that's like when I feel guilty of like I should have just gotten up and done this full thing. Like now I'm cutting myself short and blah 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 blah. But honestly, have like that's not gonna make or break your training. It's not gonna make or break you like on the course. It's the workouts that matter are like those ones that on my days off where I spend a ton of time doing like it's like when I spend like 6 7 hours training. Like granted, okay, I shouldn't say that those are the only ones that matter, but if I were like cutting those short and not doing those, like that's going to be way more impactful than cutting like 1 hour out of a workout during the week because I needed sleep. Like you got to find the balance somehow, and you also have to find like when you're using it as an excuse to just not do it versus like you can tell you truly like need more rest and need more recovery. And that's I think the toughest part is like trying to find like okay, now I'm use like I'm using this as an excuse. Like that's different than like no, I can tell that my body is exhausted, I'm tired, I need to sleep. um so that's like the big thing is like trying to find the balance between the two of those of like me using this as an excuse because I just don't want to get up and I'd rather sleep versus like no, I can tell like I'm exhausted and I need to like recover.
Most competitors do kind of struggle with realizing like, oh no, maybe I should sleep because mentally we're like, oh, but we have this to do. And
Yeah.
then it's that whole like mind game of trying not to feel guilty. But at the end of the day, if you need to sleep, you need to sleep.
Yeah. And there's definitely multiple days where I like was mad at myself for not getting up and doing a workout. And it never and like also I talk to my coaches pretty frequently. So if I did miss anything, they were able to help me adjust and put it somewhere else in the week that I could do it, or adjust other workouts. And they never once told me like you shouldn't have skipped this or you shouldn't have done this or like that like I wasn't if I wasn't feeling good or something that like I should have just done it. Like they never once told me that. They always helped me figure out how to rearrange it and figure out how to get the important workouts in still. So it's one of those things where it's like they were also very supportive and understanding and like help like flexible to help me rearrange everything so that I can like get what I needed and also not kill myself in the process.
That's so important though, and I truly love that about, you know, your support team that you have, and just as a competitor to have coaches who for me, that's something that's very important, and if, mine are ever on the podcast, I think that that's something that a lot of people would notice right away is that
Yep.
is something that they all kind of have in common. And my coach once said, like, and it was something so simple, something about just like my hair, and I needed someone else to do my hair for an event. And
Mhm.
it was, if I can't be a part of a solution, then I'm part of the problem. And she like
Yeah.
immediately drops everything just to figure it out. And those are always the kind of coaches that I love having around, the ones who will literally just like not even ask you a question about how you got into the problem or whatever the concern is. They're just
Mhm.
ready to jump in and
Yeah.
fix it and do what they can. And I feel like that's like underrated in a sense. I don't know
Mhm.
if one gets to experience that when it comes to coaching, but I do wish that more people could experience that type of coaching and
Mhm.
get to really see what that's like. We're going to move into the mental portion of all of this and just overall, because I think that this is definitely a portion that people can relate to, even if they're not going to ever train for an Ironman or be a triathlete. But this is all really important, especially for anyone who wants to try something new, even. So, do you find moments that no matter how prepared you are, you like randomly have these worrying thoughts about anything in that's going to happen in the moment? You know, like you've trained for all of this. You know what should happen, but are there any like intrusive thoughts that pop into your head and you're just like, "Oh, that's ridiculous. Why am I thinking that?"
All the time. I always am like, do I really think that I can run this pace? Like, am I overestimating myself here? Like, is this really feasible, or am I just like kind of going crazy? Like, am I being realistic about this, or am I like totally being unrealistic and like this isn't possible type of thing? Um, if you honestly, the biggest thing is I did my very first Ironman in 2017. I did my second one in 2021. I did my third one last year in 24, and then this was my fourth. Um, Honestly, the biggest thing is like I look back at how much progress I've made, and that's what I feel like keeps some of the thoughts out of my head is when I look at like how far I've come. My very first Ironman, I finished in 13 hours and 45 minutes. My second one was 11 hours and 54 minutes. And then this one was at 9 hours and 57 minutes. Like, like that progression is so big, like so big that I'm like, every time I start to doubt what I think I can do, I just like go back and look at where it was and it's like look at how far you've come. And like the girl in that photo like thought you could do it. Like why how like and you are now like 10 times closer to it and now you're going to second guess yourself like the girl like 10 or 5 years ago thought that you could do this. Like you what are you doing? That girl was delusional and you're closer to it now.
That's amazing. I am very impressed with the changes in your time. That's really incredible, especially like for me, just hearing those numbers overall. I couldn't imagine doing 13 hours in a row of that. So to hear how much you've improved, that is absolutely amazing. Like, I'm so proud of you. If we go into a few assumptions just about what goes through your mind or just in general.
Mhm.
So, what assumption, what's the assumption people have about mental toughness that oversimplifies like what's going on in your head actually like during a race?
During a race, you go to such a different place. Like especially in an Ironman, it's so long. I mean, like I literally spent 9 hours, like almost 10 hours with my own thoughts and like myself. Like I had to distract myself somehow for 9 hours. Um, and like it's just such a different like battle. Because sometimes on the bike, even like you can kind of like you're just kind of like spinning, especially on the bike. Like you can just spin and just go through whatever. Um, and so like you kind of can get distracted sometimes, which can be kind of nice, but then also you're like, oh shoot, like now I'm not paying attention to what I'm supposed to be doing, and like I'm not hitting my pace and blah blah blah. So that's what goes back and forth in my head a lot. It's like halfway like paying attention to the other half is like, oh, trying to keep myself preoccupied a little bit and entertain myself a little bit.
Mhm.
Um, a lot what I've started doing, I realized it this past year when I was racing. Like some of these courses are stunning and beautiful. And I spent all this time looking at this freaking computer that I'm like, just stop and like look up for a second. Look around you, like look at what you're racing in. Like, and it was like the desert, but it was so beautiful. There was buttes everywhere and whatnot. And like it was so pretty. And so sometimes I just had to like stop myself and like look at like where I was and what I was doing. And just appreciate like what I was doing. I think something that kind of strayed from the oversimplification. I think a lot of people think like, oh, I can just like put on like David Goggins, if you ever heard of him, like the like some of his speeches, or I can like run, like I can like put all of those like mental toughness quotes in my head and like that's what's going to get me through. Honestly, that doesn't work for me. Like, I don't think that him saying anything while I'm running in the marathon is going to make me feel like, yeah, I can do this. Like, it honestly is like everyone thinks you have to have like the motivational quotes and like the mental toughness quotes and like all those things is what gets you through and what motivates you. It's not true at all. It's just that you're disciplined to keep showing up every day and doing like the work every day. And then when you get to the race, it's like honestly what I found worked the best was just like saying that like I can do this. Like I've trained for this. I'm prepared for this, and like constantly telling myself over and over again that like you are prepared and not that and because honestly you can never fully be prepared for this. Like it's never this distance is never, it's going to humble you every single time because it's an insane distance. But every time that I just kept telling myself like I can do this, like just breathe, like the simple easy things were, which might be an oversimplification, but the simple easy quotes were the ones that got me through, not like the like you wake up and you're like whatever the like quotes are that everyone always shares on Instagram and Facebook or wherever. Like that's not what got me through. It was just repeating to myself to breathe and that I can do it.
Yeah, I hear you. Some days I see those motivational quotes and I'm like, no, not today. Like, I don't want to see these today.
Yeah.
It's just
Well,
like, no.
and I saw a post about it the other day about how like someone was like people sharing them and it's like, but there's no action behind that. Like the action is like the discipline is what keeps you like going, and that's what's going to keep you going through the race is that you're disciplined and you've come this far. It's not going to be a quote that like, and it's to, like I said, for me it was just telling myself like keep breathing and that you can do it. It was as simple as that.
Do you have a specific coach that you go to when it comes to something about, what's going on in your mind or just mental toughness and things like that? Do you have a specific person that you always go to?
I don't. I've had a couple people reach out and I definitely know like I need to put an emphasis on it, more of an emphasis on it, and I want to. Um Currently it's just like timing and like how much coaching that I already have, just
Mhm.
trying to fit more in has been like the biggest barrier, I think. It's not something that I don't want to include. It's just something that I haven't had, like, I've had people reach out to me and it just hasn't worked.
I get that. Mine literally came like out of the blue,
Hmm.
and he doesn't even dance. And to this day, I don't think I ever told him. I screenshot one of his messages that he sent to me, and
Hmm.
it's my lock screen on my phone. So anytime I'm like having a moment where I'm like going through it in my head, I literally just have to tap on my phone and then I
Yeah.
see it, you know.
Yeah.
So you never know who it's going to be. It might just,
Right.
someone that you already know, because mine kind of hit me like out of the blue. What do you have to say for just people in general who have a habit of doubting themselves when they try something hard?
Hmm. That you're gonna fail at it. I mean, I failed multiple times before I was really successful at like a half Ironman or an Ironman distance. Um, and I'm still learning. Like there's still things that I do wrong every race that I know how to improve for the next one. I'm still figuring it out, even though I've trained for 10 years at this point. Like you can be an expert and still learn more. Um, and like there's always going to be that there's always going to be a piece of doubt in your head, but if the rest of your head can override it and just there's less doubt than and like than anything else, like that's all you need. You just need it for a brief moment to press that register button. um you just need that brief moment of like not doubting yourself and then committing to something, I think, because then you're like, well, now I've committed, so I can't not do it. I've signed up, so I have to do this now.
Do you have a specific quote that is just one of your favorites that helps you when you doubt yourself?
There's one or two that pop into my head, but I'm trying to remember how you actually like the full quote of it.
If you get like bits and pieces, I will either find the whole one later to share or you can send it to me later.
There's one from a famous runner named Steve Prefontaine. He had, and it's like to give anything less than your best is a sacrifice to the gift. So like that's one that always pops into my head when I'm like when I'm mad at myself or like frustrated, even during a workout, like when I'm um mad that I'm not hitting the paces that I want or like whatever it may be. If you are just putting your whatever you can forward, like that will be enough. And then recollect after the workout and go to the next day. Like it's not always going to be perfect, but if you are consistently putting the best effort forward, then that's what you can do.
Our next portion is going to be about qualifying for the World Championship. So, yay! I was so
Yay!
happy for you when I saw that message and I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So, let's just dive in quick to like the moment you found out. So, did you know right away or when or how did you find out?
So this is where it gets really sticky because Ironman, and this kind of goes back to that whole 18% females. It's obviously male female world championships in Kona, Hawaii. They used to split it where they had females like one day, males another day, and then they even split it to like females are doing a different race as the world championships and males are in Hawaii and then flip flop it. Like males are then on a different race and females are in Hawaii. And so after moving it around a ton, they came back to everyone wanting to race together in Hawaii. So they came back to one day for world championships in Hawaii. There's only so many people can qualify for it. And the whole push for switching stuff around was to try and increase female participation. And they said since after 3 years that didn't change, they're just going to go back to the one day because 3 years is, going to significantly change things. That's a whole nother argument we could get into. So then the other then argument was like they would divide spots for age groups. So it was all like how many people race in your age group, they like proportionally allocated slots. What was happening was a lot of the most competitive people weren't going because they weren't in the age groups that got the most slots. The great example last year in 24 at California, I was 5th in my age group and the 10th female to finish overall. I didn't get a slot because my age group had 3 slots. Okay. But the age group above me had 6 slots and I beat almost every single person in that age group. So like you have to have every age group represented because you can't compare me to like a 65-year-old. That's not right. Like that's not equal. So you have to have every age group represented. But they're saying it's the world championships, it's the fastest people. And it's like, well, I mean, you're kind of missing some of those people because where the competitive age groups are isn't where you're giving slots out necessarily. So they came up with this new system where each age group gets one qualifying spot for the top 3. So like if first place doesn't take it, then second and third get a chance to take it. And then everyone else gets put into something they call the performance pool. And they put your time into this huge equation and they age grade the times. So they're basically taking age out of it. So everybody is on a level playing field with their time then. Was kind of like the whole purpose of it. They implemented this system like middle of summer and there were 357 males that qualified out of the system and 15 females. Over 16 races.
Wow. Okay.
The race that I did last year, Ironman California, this year they had 10 males from age 55 to 59 qualified. 10 from that one age group qualified out of this performance pool that was supposed to equal everyone's times out and make it equal for everybody. So obviously a lot of people were upset. Like, and there was a lot of backlash about it. And they actually did something about it. So they announced like 2 days before my race that they were going to have a separate performance pool for males and females, and then age grade our times based like within the gender. So, and they were implementing it the start of my race. So they gave out a few, they had to then split like the male and female slots again. And so what happens, how they do it, because you have to pay for it right away. You have to be at the award ceremony to get your spot because they want you to pay for it right there.
Mm-hmm.
And I still idolize this race, even though it's clear, like, I know what they want out of it. There were 40 slots given out for Ironman Arizona in total. 15 of them went to females. 25 went to males. So, and their reasoning is that, well, that's about 80% male, 20% female, which is who competed. That's like the split of how many people competed in the race. And I was like, I understand, but like, if the whole goal is still to increase female participation, like that's still not helping us, because there were 11 age groups. So there were only 4 slots remaining for like everyone else to take. And if you think about it, like that's not that many slots left. And so it's like, I get it. Like, I don't ever expect it to be 50-50, but like you're saying you want to increase participation and everything, but you're not like even giving us the chance to like try and like increase and like give like 1 or 2 more slots out to females to like try and bolster like a little bit more, like just to like show like that you do care about female participation. So that's like, it's really complicated. They very much overcomplicated this, I feel like. But so anyway, so now we're at awards. They've given out all of the age group slots. So they announced there's 4 slots left in the performance pool, and I'm ranked 7th. And I looked back at my parents, and like you could see it on their faces. Like, I have walked out of every other award ceremony like in tears, because I've been so close to qualifying and I haven't made it. And you can see my parents' reaction when they said that, and my reaction, because I was like, oh God, like I'm not gonna get a spot. Like, God, like here we go again. Like, I was 6th overall and I'm still somehow not getting a slot for world championships. And they started listing off names, and 1 or 2 people said no, they didn't want a slot. And so then I was like, oh my God, I only need 1 more person. And there was someone standing right next to me that was like, no, I'm not taking my slot. And I was just like, oh my God. Oh, I'm the next person on that list. That's me. That's my name. I'm next. I like looked back at my parents and I was like, is this like, am I actually going to qualify? Am I finally going to qualify? And so I was the last slot. I was the last name that they called to go get a slot. But
So, I mean, obviously a lot of things have to happen, you know, in order, whatever the rules are now and however they do it. But the fact that you still get to go, I mean, that feeling must have just been incredible.
I mean, I still don't like believe that it's real. Like, I don't think I'm like still like, oh my God, I'm actually going. Like, this is something that I've dreamed of since I've started training for tries. Like, this is like, this is what I wanted to do for the last like 10 years of my life. Like, what? I'm actually going. It's a nerve-wracking process to get there.
I imagine. I mean, especially when it's that moment and you're just standing there and you're like, are they going to say my name? Are they going to say my name?
Yeah.
Or doing the math in your head and maybe psyching yourself out, but you did it. And I don't know, I'm always a big believer in everything, you know, that's meant to be will be. So I'm excited for you. How long do you have to get ready for this?
It's in October of 26. So I have like 10 months to prepare, which is great. Lots of time.
Have you
Especially,
already like sat down with your coaches or whoever it is that plans out your training and you're already ready to go? You know what you need to do?
yeah, we haven't like fully debriefed. Like I'm talking to them like in a day or two all about Arizona, which is nice because then I've had this whole week to like actually like register what's happened and like kind of get a better picture of it, because like right afterwards, like those like 24 hours, 48 hours after are such like a blur in your brain of like what actually happened. um so now it's like nice because everything's kind of like calmer and chill and whatnot. So uh we'll like debrief the whole race and go through like whether I hit certain goals or not, and then start like building towards Kona after.
That's exciting. Are
So
you, I
yeah.
mean, obviously very excited about this race. This is one of the, events you've been training for and been working
Mhm.
towards for a while. So do you feel like you have specific goals that maybe you set for other races and they're the same for this one? Or you said you're very hard on yourself, and I don't blame you. I'm the same way for dancing. um do you feel like you already know exactly what you want, or are you still kind of figuring that out now that it's actually happening?
I'm still figuring it out. And I think my approach with this race is definitely going to be different than most of my other races. Like, the other races that I have lined up for next year, I already know mostly know what my goal is and what I want out of the race. Um, but this one, like, I'm kind of waiting on because it's a tough course. Like, it's a really challenging course. And, I have like ideas in my head, but honestly, like the biggest thing is that I want to finish it. Like I just want to cross that finish line. It doesn't even matter. Like I say that right now. I know it will matter how long it takes, but like I just want to actually cross that finish line.
Mhm.
Be before anything else is like just get across the finish line at the World Championships. Um I definitely will have like time goals and pace goals and want to do certain things, but I definitely like number one is crossing the finish line right now. It'll, like I said, as it gets closer, it'll probably change because I'll start like doing more math of where I'm at and where I could be. But yeah, right now that's the goal.
We're going to go into some assumptions, not necessarily specifically for the World Championships, but just a few that we haven't gotten to yet. Um, do you feel like, so before you started doing triathlons, what do you feel like is assumption people might have made about you before you started doing them, and then your reality now?
Oh, let's see. Honestly, I can't even remember because I've just done them for so long at this point.
But
Um,
when did
I
you start doing them?
my first one was in 2015. So
Okay.
about 10 years ago. Um, and before that point, I was always an athlete. Like I had multiple people tell me that I should try doing triathlons because I swam and ran growing up. And out of the three, like biking isn't as hard to try and pick up. So um I had like a lot of people telling me like, or not a lot of people, but I had some people being like, you probably be a pretty good triathlete. Like you should really try this. So I think I lived up to all the assumptions.
What made you finally decide to try it?
I honestly I just needed a bike, and I didn't do it like during high school because I had so many other sports that I was doing and so many other things. So I just didn't have the time like during high school. And then after I graduated high school, I did my first one. Like I had like planned. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it the summer after I graduate, and here we are. Because my friend, what originally happened was my friend taught me what the Ironman World Championships were while I was in high school, and I was like, I want to do this. And
Okay.
so then I figured out from there how I was gonna, or at least try to do it.
When you think about your like everyday personality, when you're not training, when you're just like you doing you, you're not in your competitive mindset, or maybe you just are all the time, do you feel like there's something about being in like quote unquote Ironman triathlete that people assume doesn't match your usual personality?
I think like I would say so. My job working as physical therapist as at a hospital, like you have to be pretty caring and compassionate and empathetic. And I would say like that is nowhere near what my mindset is when I'm racing. I like some of the thoughts that I tell myself, like people would probably be like, "You are ruthless." When I'm racing, and I think it's just like it just is like a pure like motivation and standpoint, and that's kind of when that kicks in of like and discipline and like wanting to finish. Then that's what my brain goes to, is like just saying whatever I need to say to get my body through it, or like encouraging myself or that kind of thing. Where like at the hospital, like I'm definitely not like that at all. Like um like a great example, there is someone that I passed one time during a race, and I was just like, in my head I'm just like, haha sucker, like I'm running faster. And like, like I would never say that to a patient at the hospital if they're like, I can't go anymore. I would never ever say that.
I mean, maybe there should just be like a separate, list of the
Yeah,
patients you can say that to, and like you want tough, hardcore training.
yeah, if
Because
you want, here we go, let's go.
that's
So
funny.
that's, yeah, so that's that. I would say I'm definitely like the mindset is a little bit different.
Would you care to share like one of your ruthless comments you've made to yourself?
Oh yeah, I passed someone during a race in my age group. Like I knew that I needed to catch her, and I like was running way faster than her, and I was just like, and she, when I passed her, she was like, whoa, like she was like, even like she like was shocked and like impressed. And I can't even remember exactly what I thought, but it was just something like, bye, see you later, or something like that. Like
I think that sometimes if people hear things that go through competitors' heads, I mean, if we use the NFL as an example, when they mic up some of the players,
I want to know what they're chirping at each other sometimes, because it's got to be like it's got to be so funny to listen to them go back and forth.
I imagine that for sure. I think that if someone mic'd me up during a dance event, the issue is that I would probably forget that someone mic'd me up midway, and then they heard what I was actually saying, and I was like, yeah, I did say that actually. But it's all in good fun. I think that's also something that maybe people don't get sometimes, is that it is like it's all in good fun. It's motivation. It's not because we actually think anything about these people. I think
Yeah.
that, like honestly just a form of kind of coping with the insanity that we decided to, you know, do in our lives. And there's nothing meant by it either. So
Yeah. And I
that's
never like actually say something to someone, say something like that to someone while competing. Like we're all out there doing the best that we can, and I totally get that. So I would never ever be like, you like put someone down as you're racing. Like it's just like what I do to like psych myself up and like make myself feel a little bit better as I'm like running. And it like has nothing to do with, yeah, like what actually someone's like or anything like that. It's just how I like kind of get that little extra spurt of like adrenaline and like feeling good and that kind of thing.
I think that the only way I would say it out loud is if it was my best friend running next to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Then you could
But she likes to run though, so I probably wouldn't end up being anywhere close to her. I'd probably just, park a chair on the in the grass and clap
watch
some
her.
cheer on and maybe yell that to her. Do you feel like there's a stereotype about what kind of person, if we say it that way, becomes a triathlete?
I feel like the biggest thing is like an ego. Like some, I feel like in, I don't see it as much like female side versus male side, which makes sense. But sometimes it's just like this ego that you're like the best, like top shit type of thing. And like you're in an age group. You're not even a pro. Like, let's calm down, okay? Like it's like I'm better than everyone else. My bike is more expensive. My bike has all these fancy little tools on it compared to everybody else. Like I'm like so much better because of that. And it's like, no, just no.
Mhm.
Yes, the bike helps, but you have to be a decent biker too. You can't just get away with like having everything on your bike and not be a good biker. You're still not going to race well then. So I think that's the biggest thing. The biggest stereotype is normal athlete stereotype.
Yeah, it's very similar in ballroom dancing, and I do admit, I personally, I notice it more in the men, but it happens on both sides, of
Yeah.
course. So,
Yeah.
all right, we are going to go into some rapid fire questions. These are going to be fun. Answer them as you please. If you could only use one emoji for the rest of your life, which one is it?
Ooh, the poop emoji.
I didn't expect that one, but what reality show do you think you'd accidentally thrive on?
Ooh, what reality show? Maybe like Trader, where because it's like you kind of have to be like conniving and like you have to be like for yourself and like that's how you're gonna win. So yeah.
All
And it
right,
doesn't have to do with love because I wouldn't be good on one of those. I'd be like, no, I have to go do my workout. Can we talk later?
I love that. What's your comfort show that you rewatch?
That I've rewatched. There's so many. Um, Office, Parks and Rec, Modern Family rewatched a couple of times. New Girl, love New Girl.
We totally have the same sense of humor and the same taste in shows. I have rewatched New Girl like you don't even know. I
And
quote Girl all the time.
I feel like it's gotten funnier every time. Like
Mhm.
my husband, the first time we watched it was like, eh. And then every time after he's like, this is so much funnier. I love quoting Schmidt.
Oh, I think he's the best. Seriously, I know people like love to hate him, and I'm just like, I really,
Yes.
I love him.
Whenever we see like kids doing something, we're like the street youths. Because we're so old.
I love that we have that in common. That makes me really happy. What food do you love that people judge you for?
Ooh, food that I love. I love almond joys.
Okay.
Everyone hates that, and I don't know why. They're so good. It's chocolate, coconut, and almonds. Like so good.
Totally random fun fact. Someone that I know used to have a job picking the crooked almonds off of the almond joys, and they had to put them in the reject bags where they got sold at a discount because the almonds were crooked.
That's crazy. Also, I need that store because I would like I don't care if it's crooked. I don't even look long enough to see what the almond looks like. I just plop the whole thing in my mouth.
Your favorite thing to buy, even though you already own 20 of them.
Running shoes or workout clothes
In the back of my mind, I had a feeling you were going to say running shoes.
or bikes.
I saw the one that was like, you didn't want to throw them out, and it was like the hardest thing to do. And I was like, that
Oh,
is,
yes.
yes.
It hurts every time.
If you could instantly master one random skill, what would it be?
Random skill. Juggling. Juggling.
Okay, that
We had to
counts.
we had to do it in grad school. We had a project where we had to learn how to juggle. And by the end, like everyone could do it like 20 plus times. And I had like 4. And I was like, I give up. I can't figure this out. And everyone else has figured this out. So it would be juggling. Because
All
it
right.
pissed me off that I
Now
couldn't
you
get
have to
it.
master it. What song instantly makes you feel like the main character?
Hall of Fame by I think it's Will I Am and like the script, I think. Because I listened to that all throughout my high school career of a swimmer and then in college I broke records at my school. So that's why.
What's something that you will always be delusional about? Well, the world says that you're delusional, but for you, it's just like your normal dream.
Iron Man's.
Do you prefer to train in the heat or in the cold? Doesn't
Ooh,
matter.
cold,
Cold?
cold.
Okay.
I hate the heat. The heat is the death of me.
If you could only train with one person for a whole year, who would it be?
It would either be Lucy Charles Barclay or Taylor Knibb. They're both like professional triathletes, and like Taylor's gone to the Olympics multiple times. Lucy's won world championships multiple times. Like they are both like insane athletes. So that would who it that's they would definitely push me to be better.
Do you have a pre-race ritual that you never skip?
I always wear the same sports bra. I have a black Nike sports bra. I've worn it since my freshman year of high school cross country, which was 2011, and I have not thrown it out and I have not changed it.
If you could teleport to any race tomorrow, where would you go?
Probably go to like any of the Olympic tri courses.
Okay. That's very
Other
cool.
than Paris, because I don't want to swim in the Seine River.
Okay, last one for rapid fire. If you weren't doing triathlons, what sport would you be terrifyingly good at?
I would probably run.
We're going to move into some advice and just some takeaways for the episode.
Okay.
So, what's your best advice for someone thinking about signing up but they're terrified?
Um, like it's really simple, but like just sign up. Like that is probably the most terrifying step is like actually pressing the register button. And then once you do it and it's like, well, now I have to figure out how I'm going to do this. Like just do it because you're never going to be ready, especially for like a distance like this. You can never feel ready. It's always going to feel intimidating. And honestly, every time I race it, I am humbled by this distance. Every time I think I have it down, it shows me that I do not. So it's going to be terrifying no matter when you do it. It's just like you just have to press that button and decide that you're going to take that chance.
What's an assumption or just a thought that beginners tend to have that you think holds them back?
That you have to have like the best equipment and have everything figured out like that first race. You won't. I still don't. And I definitely like you don't need the best equipment to be competitive. You don't need to have the brand new gadget or the newest gadget. There's always something new coming out for bikes. Like as you learn, you can get new things and then you can adapt. But just to start to just do one, you don't have to have all this fancy equipment.
You're saying that, and I'm realizing that I wore my sweatshirt that says you need to
Yeah,
start.
that's perfect.
So you need to start somewhere. That
Yeah,
is your motivation.
exactly.
I feel like what you said a little bit ties into kind of that assumption that you have to be ready, like before
Mm-hmm.
you can sign up for something. But what
Yeah.
about that phrase being ready kind of bothers you the most, or you want people to kind of stop, like the reason why you want them to stop saying that?
Yeah, because you'll never like this distance is so massive. It just I never feel 100% ready. I know I'm going to get to the finish line, but I never feel like 100% ready for any race of this distance because it's so long. I know I put the training in. I know I have this like I know everything that I've done is prepared me for it and that I can do it, but you're never going to feel like 110% ready to do something like this. The other thing that a lot of people do is like I just give yourself enough time to train for something like this. Be ready in that aspect. Like sign up a year beforehand and know that you're going to train for this for a full year so that you have a really good base and you have the endurance to do it. Like there's some people who don't, and I've seen plenty of posts about how they've suffered because like they just didn't give themselves enough time to actually prepare to do this. Some people don't need it. Some people it works for, and that's great. But the majority of what I've seen in my knowledge from being a physical therapist is take the time to get yourself ready because you will be way happier that you did it that way.
And our final question for the episode is, what's your take or your thoughts on the power of doing hard things?
That phrase can be applied to almost anything. Like obviously an Ironman is hard, but like so is raising a child or so is getting through the workday, like depending on your job or like whatever you may do for like it can apply to anything. And I feel like it's become this thing that if you're not doing the hardest thing, well, like I'm doing this is harder than that. And it's like everything's hard and it's in a different way, in its own way. And we all have our own things that we're doing that we think are challenging. And it shouldn't just it shouldn't just be applied to one thing, or like just to sports or just to whatever. Like you can do something hard every day. Like it can be something completely non-athletic related. Could be having a conversation with a coworker that's really tough, or a boss or something like that. Like it's seems like it's turned into this thing where it has to be like this amazing athletic event, and that's not what it needs to be.
I love that. And that's so true because it can truly be just applied to everything. I mean, some people just waking up for them, and getting
Yeah.
out of bed. I mean,
Yeah.
it's truly relatable to everyone. I have had so much fun talking with you. And I'm so excited for everyone to tune into this episode. I want you to let everyone know where they can follow you, because now you're going to be training for the next 10 months. And you already know that I'm going to be following your journey, cheering you on. So I want you to tell everyone where they can find you and if you have the information now. If not, we can always share it later on the podcast about where they can watch the World Championships.
So there will be a live stream of the World Championships. I don't know how they'll set it up yet. There is an Ironman app that you can download, and that's how you track people on race day. And then the best place to follow me is my Instagram, which is triathlete_Kaitlin.
Yay! Thank you, everyone, so much for tuning in. I can't wait for you to hear Kaitlin's journey and give her some love on social media and cheer her on.